Hi, I'm George K, and this is my father Niels.
Hi.
Together we're Father and Sonthesizer, and welcome back to another episode 19. And today we're going to show you what we built in the past 2 weeks. This episode's project is, for once again, something completely analog. We haven't built anything analog in months, haven't we?
Right.
Not since summer.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a CV panning mixer, which is basically it takes a mono audio signal and makes that stereo. And by stereo I mean you have a knob with which you can turn it either to the left, to the right, so you can move it in the stereo field, and that knob is also controllable by control voltage. Now, let me show you what that means. So, first of all, a disclaimer. I recommend you watch this on on headphones or studio monitors or a modern MacBook or anything that's got a good stereo field, because this little dude right here is going to be playing with just that. Now, let's start. I've set up a little melody over here with the wavetable synth. That's going out into this CV panning mixer, into a cable I bodged myself that's recording this whole thing in stereo. Now let's give it a whirl. You can hear that's pretty centered. Why are you? Don't do that. You can hear it's pretty centered. Now let me turn this knob, and it's all the way over to the right, and all the way over to the left. Now, I've got some control voltage coming into the CV input here. Let's turn that up. That can go pretty crazy. And I don't know why this thing is putting out... Okay, that's pretty interesting. Now, how about we use the pulse output here into an envelope over here on my left. I've got my analog modular. I'm going to put the pulse output of the melody fountain into the envelope, and then put that envelope on the control voltage of the panning mixer. Let's try that. Okay, now let's try that. That's pretty cool. Now, how about we put the CV output that's coming from the melody fountain and plug that into the CV of the CV panning mixer. Now what you're hearing is the higher the melody goes, the more right it is. So low notes are to the left and high notes are to the right. Let's try that again. I love that. That sounds really cool. Now let's go back to the LFO and let's see what we can do with that. Let's make a little beat or something. Very good, very good. I like that. Now, let's go back to the workstation and talk about this. So, now that you've heard the panning mixer, let's talk about the project that we need it for, because we have planned a big new project. This new project is a mixer, but not just any mixer, it's going to be a special mixer. It's going to have an input stage with 2 VCAs, but they're not in series, they're parallel. So, when you have one signal coming in, it goes through both VCAs, and with the knob you can select which VCA you want to hear, and you can seamlessly switch between them. One of them is very clean, it's the Ray Wilson design, right?
Yeah.
And the other is the dirty VCA, that's also found in the DR110. Yeah, after that input stage you have an aux channel, and after that comes the CV panning mixer. And of that we want 6 channels for now, going into one master, and they're going to be modular. So you have 2 input channels on one faceplate, on one module, and you have 3 of those along with one master, but you can add more of the channel strips later on. This is just an idea we have for now. If you have any feedback on that, if you have any ideas what might work better, what you don't think was going to work, please go ahead and tell us. We'd like to know what you think. Now, Dad, let's talk about how you built it.
Right. I first started with a panning, with a VC panning unit, because that is something we never did before. It was completely new for us. And so I searched the internet. Of all the designs I found, the one from synths was the one that I liked the best. So I started to build that on a breadboard. And it spontaneously did not work.
Because of course it didn't.
Yeah, and it was a mess. So the next step was, let's try and put this into LT-Spice. So do a simulation of the whole schematic. And surprisingly, that worked very well. So with that in mind, we created a PCB, a layout for that. So we finished building the PCB, and you sincerely did another mistake. Well, I thought it worked because it was doing the stereo panning thing, but my son told me, no, Dad. When it's in the center, the knob is in the center.
You need
the signal
should be equally loud on both channels, on both the left and the right channel.
Yeah.
And that it wasn't. It just I don't exactly know what happened, but when you turned the knob into the center, you heard nothing.
Right. So I looked over the schematic again, and I saw that I had one resistor put on the wrong side of the operational amp and in the input stage. So once I fixed that on the PCB by cutting the copper and some isolated wires, I fixed the PCB, and voila, it worked like a charm.
And now that we have that working, that's the very first part of the mixer. We've also been working on the double VCA thing, and that has also come along fairly well. We need a faceplate for it, there's some mistakes on it, but I reckon if all goes well, then next week we could be showing you a finished channel strip, a first finished channel strip. And from that on, over the Christmas break, we're going to try to finish it, because we're going to have a lot of time over Christmas.
3 weeks free time.
And free time means synth time.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to be fixing some of our older modules. We're going to be looking over some bugs on the wavetable synth and the algorithm, and also Veterinary's clock and the melody fountain. So we're going right back to the start. After Christmas, we'll probably do a recap episode of that and show off the new mixer.
And upload all the bug fixes we've done.
Of course.
Yeah.
And this week you won't find a downloadable schematic or anything on our website, because this is literally just the USynth project. I'm going to link that in the description. And thank you very much for watching. We hope to see you again in 2 weeks, hopefully with a finished channel strip. But until then, remember, stay curious.